Sri Gurubhyo Namaha children, you are welcome for online class. 10th standard children, it is our 6th unit prose lesson, my last lesson. So here, what is the last lesson? Okay children, suppose if it is school last working day, how you feel? You feel very happy, isn't it? Yeah, you will be excited and you will be feeling very happy. So that the same day, last exam you are going to write, annual exam, last exam, subject, last subject exam you are going to take up. How you feel? You feel very happy. Okay. Sometimes you feel very worried and you will be crying for a long time, you will not able to meet your friends. So there is two experiences shared here. One is it is the last lesson, you will be very happy. And if it is the last exam, you will be very happy that you are going to complete your exam. Suppose if you think that it's going to be your last day of the school and you are not going to meet for a month or a vacation you will be getting, and you will not meet a month or two, you will be not meeting your friend, and you will not be coming to the school, and you will not have the entertainment and enjoyment in learning. So how your feeling would be? You will be very sad. So here also something about the last lesson. Let us see the prose and we will be learning. Yeah, so the last lesson written by Alphonse Dot, and he belonged to 1840 to 1897. Alphonse Dot. Yeah, the last lesson. Before going and seeing about the thing, I will just give a gist of the lesson so that it will be helpful to you. It was the period of a war, and some nation, the French people, have to lose their language, because that place had been taken by the German people after the war, and they have declared or proclaimed an order that they must not take French hereafter, and only German must be taken there. And it was the last class for the French lesson, and a boy happened to come to school late, and he find that the master is feeling very sad, and all the people are just giving a farewell for him because it is the last lesson on the day and he have to move to the other place. So that is the thing of the lesson, a gist of the lesson, and you can understand how the feeling of the master and the student will be and the people will be. The boy realized that so far he was very poor and weak in that language, but last lesson he was observing very clearly, and he was thinking he had wasted his time and anymore he is not going to have that lesson. So that was the lesson. We will see what all the things, and we will go about the author. The last lesson, Alphonse Daughter, 1840 to 1897, a French novelist and a short story writer. The last lesson is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War in 1870 to 1871, in which France was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. So here France was defeated by Prussia. The Prussian War, a Franco-Prussian War, had taken place in 1817 to 1871, and that time France was defeated by Prussian, led by Bismarck. So the Prussian was led by Bismarck, and Prussian then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of the Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. So that part of France, that is Alsace and Lorraine, was passed to the hand of Prussian land, and they were now being slaves. And you know that when some other nation is just taken over your country, you have to face a lot of differences and lot of difficulties. So those people are facing, and that we are going to see. So the last lesson by Alphonse Daudet. This lesson is set in the days of France-Prussian War. France was ruled by Bismarck. So France was ruled by Bismarck. Prussia then consists of what now are they nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. So Germany, Poland and Austria. The Prussians defeated the French and the district of Alsace-Lorraine fell into the hands of Prussians. The oppressors not only wanted the territory but dominated over the language and culture of the Germans. So they don't want only the land, they have taken land. Apart from that, they are just influenced, their thing is influenced in that, and they want their language to be changed, because as their mother tongue is France mother tongue is French, and they must not learn French anymore in those two places, and they have to learn Germany. So that was the official just proclaimed, and the next day onwards Germany will be taught in the schools and French will not be taught. So the French teacher have to just go for the next place, and he must not stay anymore in that area, and he must not teach in that school. So as a teacher, when he is not having an opportunity to teach and take class, there is no necessary for him to stay, so he have to go. So that day it was the last lesson and he is going to take in that school. So our Germans, thus to take away their identity, read the lessons to find out what impact this had on life at school. I started for school. So yeah, the author is a school going boy, and he was just telling, I started for school very late that morning. Now usually happening, school going children, some will be very playful and they'll be observing on the road and they'll be just a little late to the school. The same happens here for the boy. I started for the school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding, especially because Mr. that is M. Amel had said that he would question us on participle, and I did not know the first word about them. So the boy is little weak in the subject French, and the master Mr. Amel, that is Mr. M. Amel, is the French master, a French teacher, and that sir had already given a homework for them. The next day is going to ask questions in the alphabet. So as this boy was not good at studies, he was very poor in his studies, and he was not want to go in time for the class, and he want to go a little late so that he can escape from the first period. So he was planning and he was going late. So I started for school very late that morning and was in a great dread of a scolding. So he want to escape from the scolding from the teacher, especially because M. Hamel had said that he would question on participles. Now he'll be questioning on the participles. You know, it is a grammar class, and if he doesn't know participles, and if he goes earlier, he'll be get caught and he'll be getting scolding from the French teacher. So he planned to go little late to the school by missing the first period. So he planned and he was just going, and I did not know the first word about them. So he doesn't know about the participle, first word of the participle. It is very clear, children. Shall we move to the next? Okay, for a moment I thought of running away and spending the day out of the doors. It was so warm, so bright, the birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill the Prussian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting. So here he felt, you know, that when a school going boy is there, what his mind will be? When he want to go late, first he will be deciding to go late, and later he will be deciding to bunk the class. So here the same way he also decides. Why? What is the situation? For a moment I thought of running away and spending the day. So first one moment he thought in his mind, why can't we run from here and enjoy the nature? So that was in the boy's mind, and he was thinking that. Spending the day out of doors. It was so warm. So the day was so warm and so bright. It was so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. So at the back of the mill, he saw that Prussian soldiers were drilling something, and it was all much more tempting. You know that school going boy, some work is going out, something is happening there. He'll be interested and he'll be very keen to see and watch that, and you want to go and watch and observe what is taking place. So he also planned like that to escape from the school going out, but for one moment he was thinking like that, why can't I just go and observe this all things? It was in his mind. He got 1 minute thinking in his mind in one moment. So because those things were so nice, so let us see whether he had bunk or he was going to school. Okay. Then the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. So one moment he had a thought, the day was warm and the sun was so bright and the field was nice, and the mill back Persian soldiers were drilling, and this all is ready for the young mind to observe. And one minute he thought, why he must do that? Why can't he go to the school? So that minute he changed his mind and he went to school. Then the rule for participle came to his mind, but I had the strength to resist. Anyhow, I have a strength to resist. I cannot stop anymore going school, and hurried off to school. Then he walked fast to the school. When I passed the town off, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The last battles, the draft, the orders to myself without stopping. What can be the matter? The commanding officer, and I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? So here, there was a public place, and in there a notice board will be there. In that notice board, all bad news will be there. That is, if they have a battle, if they have some accident, or whatever the general thing happening, that in that notice board it will be put. So when I passed the town off, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. So near the bulletin board, a crowd was there. When a crowd was there, important news will be there, and mostly it will be a bad news. So what is a bad news? A war is not a very good news, so it will be a bad news. So bad news had come from there, the last battles, the draft, the orders to myself without stopping. What can be matter? The commanding officer, and I thought to myself without stopping. What can be the matter now? So he was thinking, and the commander in chief also thinking, what will be the matter there? So he was thinking. So let us see what had happened. Okay. Then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin called after me, "Don't go so fast, Bob. You will get to your school in plenty of time." I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Amel little garden all out of breath. So he was just going there, and when he was going and seeing the notice, he was hurrying to school, and the blacksmith and with his apprentice, some people are there, and the blacksmith says after seeing the notice, "No need to go to school, you just walk away, anyhow today no school will be." So he was giving a message to him, and he thought that man was just joking and making fun of him. But I thought he was making fun of me, and reached M. Amel's little garden all out of breath. So he was running and just went to the school, and where Amel's garden was, he reached the garden. When he reached the garden, there was a surprise waiting for him. Let us see what it is. Yeah. Usually when school began, there was a great bustle which could be heard out in the street. The opening and closing of the desk, lessons repeated in unison, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great rule rapping on the table. So usually when a school is there running, what will happen? There will be a sound. Children will be just pulling the desk and opening the desk, and they'll be walking, they'll be making a sound, talking, all will be there. A noisy place it will be before a prayer. But here he found that it is so silent. So nothing was heard like that. So usually in a school you will be getting lot of sounds, isn't it? So at least in the rest period, or when the teacher sound, or sometimes tapping, the teachers will be tapping the ruler on the table. So this all usually heard in that place, but here he found that nothing was heard. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen, but of course that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Through the window I saw my classmates already in their places, and M. Amel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. So here something was not usual, it is something unusual. It was school is going on but pin of silence, there is no sound at all. But now it was all so still, everything was still, everybody was sitting and listening and there is no sound at all in that class. And he was having a surprise why it is. It is like a Sunday, in Sunday school will not take place, it will be so silent. But it was, school is taking place, but it was very quiet and silent, and the boy was having in his mind thinking what is happening, whether the class is there or not, what is so silent, what is it different today. So he was thinking in his mind this all. To get to my desk without being seen, but of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. So how a Sunday morning it will be so silent in the school, like that it is. Children were there, parents were there, so many were there, but even then it was very silent. No sound was heard in that class. Through the window I saw my classmates. So now he is seeing through the window. So when he saw the classmates already in their place. So classmates were already seated in their place. And M. Amel walking up and down, the teacher M. Amel, the French teacher, walking up and down with his ruler in his hand. So iron ruler under his arm, he is walking up and down. Okay, so now I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. Just imagine if you're coming late to school and if you were the only one person who is late, now you will be having some frightened and you'll be just walking and you'll be just seeing how to enter the thing. You'll be have a lot of fright in your mind. You'll be afraid and there will be a fear and there will be so much confusion. And here the same year was having blushed, shy and frightened. He was frightened as well as shy. I had to open the door and go in before everybody. So everybody was sat and he was have to ask excuse and he have to go. So you can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. So he was frightened as well as blushed, very feeling shy and frightened to enter the class. But nothing happened. Hem Amel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." So here he says, so his name, the boy's name is Frank, and he says that, but nothing happened. So nothing happened when he goes and stands and opens the door, nothing happened. M. Amel saw me and said very kindly, saying very kindly, "And go to your place quickly, little Frank. We were beginning without you. We started the class without you. You just go to your place," he was telling. I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. Not still then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt and the little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. Besides, the old school seemed so strange and solemn. So here I jumped over, what Frank had done, he had jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. He went to his place and he sat in his desk. Not still then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that. So here he was frightened and he is not looking anywhere, he just go to his place, he jumped over the table and sat in his desk. And after his fright all gone, he was looking at the teacher. So he was looking at that, I see at that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat. Now he was looking at the teacher and the teacher was in his green coat and his frilled shirt and the little black silk cap, all embroidered, that he never wore except on inspection and prize days. So he used to wear a colorful dress, and that colorful dress will be worn on inspection days. And now he noticed, after his fear is gone and fright is gone, and he is looking at his teacher, and teacher was wearing a colorful dress with a coat and other frilled shirt, and now he sees that it was usually you will wear on inspection days. You know that school will be having inspections. Sometimes inspectors will be coming to the class and they will be observing the teacher how they are taking class, and they will be seeing how the children were learning, and they will ask some questions, how disciplined they were, and everything will be noted, and the inspector will be writing in the comment that the school is okay, like that it will be taking place. Often inspection will take place. So here most probably on the inspection days how he will be dressing like this. It is very clear to you children, and the same dress had been wore on that day also. Besides, the old school seemed so strange and solemn. So it was so strange and solemn for him. So it was a unusual thing happening. So the boy felt that it is something curious taking place, because he thought maybe some inspection like that, because only on inspections days he used to wear, but he is not knowing what for he is wearing. So we will see what for he is wearing and what is the situation in the next part children. We will end the class with this part, and thank you very much for listening. We will continue in the next class, in the next part, the same lesson. Thank you children.